Hi, my name is Jack Ring, and in this video I'm going to present you some of the aspects and concepts of urban planning from the 1900s at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution up until today, how they have negatively and positively affected the environment in which we live, how they are a part of the environment that we have created, some of the problems they have solved, and some of the problems that... I also want to be specific in the topic that we're going to discuss. I'm not going to be discussing urban planning in a very, very grand sense. I'm not going to be delving into the ins and outs of how America and the world at large develops our cities and our metropolitan megalopolis centers. I'm going to be focusing on something that's a little bit more at home. And what do I mean by that? I, of course, mean the suburbs. 95% of people live in suburbs of, major cities. We go to school here, we commute to work, sometimes we work within the suburbs itself. We have our family, our friends, and our entire lives here. And it has become a part of American life in such a short span of time. Suburbia, the modern American dream. What does this all mean? And what does this have to do with the layout of the white picket fence, the paperboy route, the length of the streets, the width of the streets, why some houses are cookie cutter and why others are housing projects, why communities are shaped the way they are shaped. Now, I realize that this may not sound as exciting to you as it certainly does to me, but I hope to take care of that. Let's go on an adventure. Let's explore my own backyard. I live in a suburb that displays many of the examples that I want to talk about in this video. So, let's begin our little adventure. This is a basic tour of my neck of the woods, or should I say, my neck of the urban jungle. I live in what is not strictly a traditional suburban setting. Just to give you an idea, I'm surrounded by apartments or condominiums, subdivisions. The layout of my neighborhood is very much in the style that was once proposed when suburbs were first developed as a concept here in America. Here I think they've executed it very well. They have the setting, they have the terraced apartments, which are built in open garden style, as I mentioned before. And right here you see a central clubhouse, and this is a focal point, a community center. There are a lot of activities here, as well as administrative duties which are carried out by the staff within. The planting of the bushes, the flowers, the trees, and the plants overall give a park-like aesthetic and make you feel as if you're not in a urban jungle so much as a suburban park. Pristine, well manicured and taken care of. And while they may not be white picket, they are certainly pretty to look at. These apartment complexes, or condominiums, however you wish to describe them, are designed in a open garden terrace fashion. And these are townhouses proper. This is a good example of a bioswale. It is a man-made bioswale that is able to catch rain runoff. And so you can see that clearly this was designed by man. It is not a natural bioswale in the fact that, nature made it itself. But it does employ a lot of the things that you would see in nature to prevent runoff and help with the floodwaters. Now, of course, when I say floodwaters, what I really mean is excess runoff from fierce rainstorms. This is something that has plagued urbanized and suburbanized areas in the past, and this is a good example of what people have done to remedy that. They have made a catchment right here, and you can see on the ridge everything slopes downwards and comes to a center pool point, collects here to form this little pond. This pond acts as a catchment for all of that runoff, and if the pond itself should overflow, there is a drain right there which will allow the water to be drained and will empty into a bigger wetland system elsewhere in the development. If you take a look here, you can see that there are the same aspects of what you would find in a marshland. These trees, the grass, these little weeds poking out here. This is what makes them different from artificial catchment systems, is that the people here have planted trees and things that can grow from the runoff and thus hold the soil together, preventing erosion and the disintegration of the natural or man-made topography. So the plants, on the other hand, will keep growing as the water comes. They will hold on to the soil, prevent erosion. At the same time, this pond will catch any excess runoff that's not soaked up by the plants or the ground. And if they should ever overflow, this drain will carry it to a larger wetland system further off in the development. So this is has the effect of practically managing runoff water, preventing erosion and minimizing flash floods, and at the same time keeps a pristine, manicured, garden-like atmosphere, which is very pleasant for the people living here.